Okay, so start off with saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I know we have quite a range of people on from different time zones. I am Chris Millay, the support manager here, and we will go ahead and begin. So just a quick introduction. As some of you know, I'm Chris Millay, the support manager here. So if you send stuff to support@savision.com, generally I'm going to be the one that's going to be responding. We're going to do a quick demo today, or quick webinar today. We're just going to go over some of the new features for 8.3. I will show you some of those in a quick demo, and then we'll go into a question and answer period. So of course the first thing up is going to be a poll. Some of you, I know, were on our version 8.2 webinar. It's pretty much going to be the same questions. So we'll get those going here. First question obviously is, have you already installed version LiveMaps version 8.3? Which does kind of bring up another issue. If you happen to have installed version 8.3 within the first week, I do recommend you going back to our download page, www.savision.com/downloads. Download the portal over again. I'll be showing version, an updated version of 8.3. We had a small issue during the first week that we had to push out a quick update, and so we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got quite a few answers there. So quick rundown of the new features. So there's a new alerts widget. Several people have asked for an alerts list, and that's what we're providing. We're giving you a top-end performance. We actually provide this in two forms, a top-end for just computer-related stuff, and then a top-end advanced. So if you're wanting to pull out information like SQL connections or website performance or things of that nature. We've added a small change to our custom SQL query. So we've always had the ability to show it in a table form. Well, now, just in case you're going to return something as a single value, then we'll show it as a much larger number. We've got a new kind of look to ourselves. So I'm sure all of you are used to the standard blue that we have in all of our portal dashboards. Well, now we've kind of added a couple themes. So there's a dark theme and a light theme. I'll show both of those. And then there's an override CSS file. So now you can actually go in and edit some of the CSS yourself and add some custom colors. I'll show a little bit of that on here. The home page itself has changed. We'll go through. You'll see one column missing and a few things have moved around on you to provide some quick access into different parts of the views that you're after. We've added the SLA ability to go back and look at previous months into the portal. This is something that was in our extensions or in our older web console. Well, now it's back and it's in the portal itself. And then a new feature that allows you to do a group import. So if you've already created a group within SCOM and would just like to make that a view or a dashboard within LiveMaps, then we have that ability. So instead of trying to recreate it from scratch. So we'll go into a demo here. Oh, and by the way, if you have any questions, there is a questions box on your webinar panel. Feel free to go ahead and ask those at any point in time. When we get to a question and answer period, I'll answer those at that point. So first thing first, here is the new front page. You'll notice that we've got the columns that are in the lower section have kind of moved around on you. The custom and summary dashboards. This is any of your live map views and any of the custom or the summary dashboards, the widget-based dashboards that are in here. So they're kind of lumped together, but we provided a quick search to allow you to get to any of them. So if I pull up a list, then I can go directly into a computer list from here. So that's one thing. And now we did the same thing with our services. Instead of kind of putting the live map views and services all under service management, we've split them off and separated them out. But now you have a listing of all of your services directly. So now it makes it easier for a direct access. Or if I want to, I can do a quick search and just pull up services that match that particular search. So we're trying to make it a little easier on you as far as the ability to gain a little bit faster access to the different parts of the portal itself. You'll also notice that some of those same things are up here. So you can do the custom dashboards, which is just a listing of all of these. Instead of just being the top 100, it'll show all of them. And then the summary dashboards are your widget-based dashboards. Those are the ones that you can go directly into those features. So the next thing I want to highlight, and I'm going to do these a little out of order just because of the way they kind of flow. So we've added some themes. So here's your default blue. Well, now we actually have a darker theme, which is actually my personal favorite. It makes the colors kind of pop out, and you're able to see these things. We also have a lighter theme. Some people like a lighter theme, so we can do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the dark theme, just because it's like I said, my personal favorite, and then we'll kind of go from there. So as you can see, it's changed up a bit. Makes it easier to see in a lot of ways. So we did provide an override CSS file. So if you're in your Live Maps Unity portal folder and then under content, there is an override CSS file. And this allows you to come through and actually change certain things. And I've already kind of pre-populated a couple items in here just to note the difference. So if you'll hold on just one second. Let me save this, and I will force a refresh on myself. And you'll notice I've kind of changed the top bar into an orange color. So you do have the capability of now changing some of the different colors and aspects on your own. There's some different parts of this that we'll go through, and you'll be able to see. Or you'll be able to look at the different parts of the CSS file and edit those as you see. Let me change this back. And then I'm back to normal. Okay, so a couple other things that wasn't on the list. So you'll notice down here at the bottom that I'm actually showing the number of views that we're using. We also have a license count in the settings. So you're actually able to go into the licenses overview. We're probably going to expand this a little bit more to give you a little bit more detail. Right now it's just showing you, your current usage and then what your max are, and then what your when your license actually expires. For most people, that'll probably be $20.99. So if I come into any of the service maps, you've always had the SLA reporting down here at the bottom. But one of the new things that we've added in here is the ability to actually go back in time. So now if I really wanted to see some previous month's data, then you have that ability within the portal itself. These are things, like I said before, were available within the extensions that were running through the SCOM console, and then through our older web console. They kind of got missed in the portal, but they're back again, and now they're there. So hopefully that'll help out a lot of people that have requested that feature to be in here. So now let's get on to some of the new widgets. So this is the fun part. I've already created a page that kind of details out some of those. So let me kind of move myself into an edit mode. So you'll notice that we have an alert summary and alert details. Alert summary is the exact same thing that the old alert listing used to do. It basically was a listing of objects and the number of alerts that are with that. The alert details now allows you to kind of scope that out and show a listing. So you obviously give it a title, the object type. If you want it for everything, then you can do logical entity. You can scope it to a group, the max number of results you're after. We automatically default it to a warning and an error severity, but then you can change the different severity levels that you're after. And then the resolution state. So if you have custom resolution states that you want to add in there, and then how far back you would like us to look, 1 week, 1 month, depending on how you're after there. When you're done, you basically have the listing. Now, this will follow the same rules as there is an alert columns view within the settings that you can add and remove columns. So this will add those columns in here also, and then you have the ability to filter out as you're looking at the list itself. So that's the alerts listing. There's also a SQL addition to this. So we always had the ability to look at a SQL table and pull SQL data from just about any SQL source, as long as we could read it. Didn't have to be the SCOM database. But now we've had a few people that wanted to return a single value, and that was fine, except for you basically had a table and it was small. So now we've actually just kind of enlarged the number. So if you're returning a single value, we'll just blow it up as a much larger number. Now, one of the other parts that we've been missing for a while now has been a top end. So I've got a couple different ones with top end computer results. So I've done a top 5 for CPU. You can display these as 2 different forms. You can do it as a bar graph or a spark line. You come into an edit mode. So the metrics are pretty basic. So you memory available, memory used, processor queue, just some of your basic kind of computer-related top performance counters. But then we have a top and advanced, and that's what this one is here. So it's a little bit more detailed in the way that we go through. You select the object type, and then based on the object type, you can go through and select the different metrics that you may be after. Obviously, if you're looking at something still computer-related, you may have to select several different items depending on what's in the group. You can select the whether you want it in a spark line or a bar graph. Again, the time span. The time span really only affects the spark line. Bar graph is obviously current data. Whether you want it to be the largest or smallest values, and then of course displaying the names. And then how many do you want to display? Top 5, top 10, top 15. It's really up to you. Let me save that real quick. So those are some of the new features we have. So we go through the home search. We have the out-of-the-box services, or the out-of-the-box themes that you can do. The difference in the home screen. The SLA reporting. Now the last part is actually in our authoring console. This is a group import. This wizard right here. So you're able to come through and just kind of go through and say where you'd like to save it, whether you want it in a diagram view or a list view. You can filter out. It's going to show you a listing of all of your different groups. So I can just select the one that I want to import. It tells me what I'm going to do. Oh, I know I'm missing one thing. Nope. So we'll go ahead and add that real quick. Now what it's going to do is it'll grab in, and that's the thing I thought I was missing because we changed this once or twice, and sorry about that. It'll add the group. Go ahead and add it as a view, and then from there we'll be able to display those objects. Now it'll also import in the objects itself, or it could import in the membership rule. So if your group is based off a membership rule, then we should automatically bring that over versus the other points. So I should be able to see my test import here. I can open it up, and you'll see that my group was actually based off of membership rules. So we go ahead and bring that forward to show that listing. Now, if you had explicit members, then we'll go ahead and import those in as explicit members. Now I'll be able to see this directly in here. I should be able to by now anyway. So let's come back here and go into my test import. Oh, well, it hasn't quite caught up yet, but sometimes SCOM is a little slow on that. But the view is created and will be there shortly. So that's basically the new features that we've gone through. So let's go back here, and then we have another poll question for you. Are you planning to migrate to SCOM 2016? And by the way, we are fully compatible with SCOM 2016, at least all the technical previews that have come out so far. I know Microsoft announced that it's released, but then didn't make it available to actually download right away. So that was something they said at Ignite. So as soon as it becomes available and people have actually deployed it, we'll be ready for them. Give it just a few more moments for the people to answer questions. All right, I think we're done there, and so now we can start into the questions. So let's go through the list. Let's see, can I touch on automated application discovery? So that's not something that's in this particular version. That is something that will be coming out in the future. We have it in our R&D section. Just a quick note on that, and then I'll leave that alone. It is going to be based off of NetFlow traffic, being able to build out a service and then import those things in. So that's something that was actually talked about a little bit at Ignite. That's why I'm sure that question came up, and we'll have more on that in a future release. Let's see, I like the option to customize in CSS. Can you provide the items that you can be changed without affecting the portal? I will have to get back to you on different options there. I don't have a complete list. I will try to get back to you on the different parts of the CSS files that you can change. I like the SLO for the month-by-month. Any scope for adding a week? I don't know that we've actually put that in there yet. I'll have to come back on that one. That's not this current release. I do know, I can give you a little bit of an insight on this. One of the things that I'm pretty sure will be in our 8.4 release is not necessarily an SLO dashboard, but more of an SLO reporting capability. We've had a lot of people that have wanted to look at previous months and kind of see, either graph that out or show a month by month to see how things have been going. And so one of the things that we're looking to add in by 8.4, and 8.4 is probably going to be sometime around December, January timeframe. That's not an exact quote, but somewhere around there, we're looking to actually add in more of an SLO report. So it may take it a few moments to actually generate, but it's something that you'll be able to do directly from the portal. Does the top end have a limit like the Microsoft limit? Not that I'm aware of. The limit is based on the number that we're able to pull. We pull a direct SQL query from the database. Let's see, is the top end getting the performance counters from the Ops Manager DB or the data warehouse? And for how many days can you show? Most of the counters are coming from the data warehouse. I'm pretty sure that one's coming from the data warehouse. I will have to get an exact answer on that one, but I'm pretty sure it's coming from the data warehouse. Let's see, I may have missed the group import. Can it take a standard group in SCOM and then import it? And does it duplicate the group and create a live maps group? Yes. It will import in a group that you currently have. It's going to create a second group, but this is going to be a live map group. So yes, it's going to have two groups basically named the same. Just one of them is going to have some of the things we require to display it, also based off the membership rules. So it is creating a second group. This was actually a feature that was brought to us by a customer that wanted to take a lot of the groupings that they had already built out, and then they wanted to import them in as a group and then kind of replace those into a service that they've created. So we brought that in to give that ability, and it was a pretty good idea. I don't know why we didn't think about it before, so that's the way it is now. So that's all the questions I have right now. Are there any other people that give you a few moments to ask a question or two? If there's something you'd like to see or hear about that I may not have covered? I know mostly I was doing 8.3. There's going to be some good changes coming out in 8.4. So static URLs are stored. I got a question on static URLs and where are they stored. Right now they're not stored anywhere. It's just a static URL that's created. Most of the information that's in the URL itself is all in the encrypted string. So that's how it keeps the information. It's encrypted with the user that is. There's kind of an encryption algorithm that's used based on the user that you're authenticating with when you create the static URL. I do know that that's also changing in 8.4. 8.4, they're going to go to a smaller, not quite a tiny URL, but try to create it, and that will actually be stored in SCOM itself. That's where we're actually going to change that process. It's going to be backward compatible, so anyone who has current static URLs will continue to be able to use those. We're just going to start storing some of them in SCOM to kind of create a smaller string for those people who are having issues trying to save those into a SharePoint site. Okay, so is there a way to hide the footer? I want to show a linear gauge on SharePoint in a small spot, but the footer is showing and making it hard to size. I only pause on that one because we did that with one other customer. Let me get back to you on that one. Right now, when you create the static URL, it automatically still keeps the footer, but the rest of the information, the header, the navigation bar, and all that are gone. I do know that we did that for one other person, and I thought that was going to actually be in this release where they actually added that option into the static URL option. So I will need to get back to you on that one. Is there a plan to enable the import of Visio-based diagrams and associate health states of objects to any of the shapes in the diagram? At this time, no. We've always had the ability to import the image, so if you save it as an image. The problem with that is a little bit more of a, it's a little harder to do on a certain level. So right now the answer is no. If that's something that you absolutely want, then I can add it again as a feature request, talk to R&D, we can go from there. I like the ability to customize colors. Can the views settings that have been added recently be locked so that they can become globally set and enforced? So you're wanting to force the setting itself for the colors to be enforced so that nobody can change them, as far as the theme or something along those lines? The quick answer to that is no. However, there is a way that I can get around that. Most of those things are just setting and changing which CSS file we're looking at. So if you're wanting to force everyone to see the same color and something along those lines, then there are ways that we can actually go through and just change a couple names and force the CSS files to look at a certain one. I believe the override CSS also kind of locks things down because we look at the override CSS and base everything off of it, no matter what view you're looking at. So while it's not a setting that you can check to say these are locked, there are ways around that. When a static URL is created, does the user inherit the rights from the user in the URL or their own rights? They inherit the rights of they inherit the rights that are in the URL, the one that we're actually creating when you create the thing. The purpose of the static URL initially was to show and allow people to gain read-only access, something that you wanted to lock somebody down. That's why there's options there to hide the navigation bar and then also disable drill-down capabilities. So basically what you're doing is you're saying, hey, I'm going to allow them to log on as a set user even though they don't have SCOM permissions, but now I'm not going to allow them to navigate away or even drill down if you want that option, so that they're kind of locked into a session. And you're locked into session state data at that point. So even if you change your URL, it kind of forces you right back into that session. Or even if you try to open up a tab, the only way you're getting out of that is to close the browser down itself, but then when you reopen it, you have to re-authenticate. So that's the reason for the static URL feature the way it is. Will there be more documentation regarding the CSS customizations and its possibilities? Yes, I'm trying to get that into a KB article just so that I knew that was one of the things that's coming. I don't have it ready for me right now, but that's something that will be coming out shortly. Please publish the Q&A. Yes, when we'll send up a follow-up email, there'll be the Q&A sessions will be listed out as far as the questions, not necessarily who they came from, but some of the questions that were asked, and then also our answers. And then can we get details on making the theme changes globally sent out? Not urgent, but would like to as an option. Yes, I will add that into some of the answers that we go through when we publish out the question and answer period. So with a follow-up email. Actually, I had a lot of questions this go around. I'm really happy. Sometimes you get only a few, and sometimes you get a lot. It's good to know that we've got a lot of people listening in and asking some good questions. That's the end of the questions that I've had so far. Are there any more? Okay, so I'll go ahead and end it there. If there are any other questions that may arise, you can send those to me. You can send them to support@savision.com or the info@savision.com. Either way, if you'd like to know more information on anything, again, you can email either one of us. We'll go for there, and I would like to thank you for showing up. It was a good session, and we'll be sending this out in a follow-up email. Not only the webinar that we've done, but then also the questions and answers. So thank you very much, and everybody have a good day, or the rest of your day anyway.